see it. So I have to click around until I find it.
I think
It's
so.
icons,
Yeah.
World of icons.
Did you see that?
Let's see. Welcome to live chat. Oh, you said hi.
Yeah.
What? Okay, how do I respond back? Oh, wait. Let's try this. No? You have to click the right thing.
Yeah, you have a green screen behind you.
Oh, we don't want that. Oh, look. Okay, that means I have to find the thing lighting on. Nope, lighting off. Green screen. Oh,
There you go.
I fixed it. Cool. Okay, well,
Cool.
you have to chat with everybody until I find
All
the
right.
thing.
Um. So, I think I'm interested in talking about comparison.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, how does comparison relate to whatever thing you're teaching?
Um, what I teach is how to be a human being, and you started out as one. Isn't that what our brains are built for?
Yeah.
Like literally? Like,
Yeah.
why would we want to be what we aren't built for?
hmm
I
Well,
think
even
even dogs compare stuff. So what do you think about it?
that's interesting. What do you mean by even dogs compare stuff?
Have you ever had a dog?
Basically,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, like give them two different bowls of food and they're like, I don't like that one. And then, oh, I like this one. And they'll eat
Okay.
it, right?
Yeah.
And some dogs don't like particular people.
hmm
I've known dogs that just do not like men at all or
Yeah.
do not like women at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah, yeah. So they
So,
seem to.
so you're saying comparison is a natural thing.
It is natural. Everything about us is actually natural. And that's why,
Even
so much spiritual teachings are just it's such bullshit and it just puts us into this hole of golly, what would be the word? Well, illusion, right? That you're not supposed to be what you are.
mm,
So then you're constantly trying to not be a human being.
mhm.
But sorry, we're stuck.
Yeah. Well, what is I mean, there has to be some kind of comparison that isn't helpful, though, right?
Well, there's everything is like can be not helpful,
hmm
right? Because I was just thinking, I'm getting ready to go to another dance retreat, so of course I'm comparing.
Yeah.
But so there is this idea that we must have gotten from Eastern spirituality. People believe that enlightenment is like constant happiness because it's described as bliss. And
hmm
so people try to be happy all the time in order to look spiritual. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
We would talk to some of those people.
Yes, yes. And so two really toxic things happen. One, if you happen to be the person that cracks through their crack and makes them unhappy for a moment, they totally blame you for it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then two, we just don't serve ourselves and everyone else by pretending.
Mm,
Pretending to be something that you're not is just literally toxic. But then on the other hand, there's nothing wrong with happiness,
hmm
right? There's just all our concepts around it that's um, crazy and whack. So, um, yeah, so there's nothing there. So obviously, there's good comparison and there's toxic comparison. Like, for instance, I live in the United States of America where there's really a lot of toxic comparison going on.
I was gonna say, you know, you mentioned pretending, and I think we're conditioned to pretend because we also have the need for belonging. And if we have a need for belonging in a community that says pretend, or the standard is to pretend, then we're
Hmm.
just gonna follow along because we also need that sense of belonging.
Right, right. Well, and we all have really ripe imaginations,
Hmm.
but it's kind of tricky to figure out what's the difference between like imagination and real. That's an advantage of being a mom or like being an older brother, right?
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
what do we do with children? We really want to enhance their uh, creativity and everything, and children are very creative, but there's actually a goal with every child to teach them where imagination and pretending stops
Hmm.
and reality begins. Like, you
Uh-huh.
sit with a child and you play a game, you're just totally pretending,
Hmm.
right? But then as an adult, you expect them to be able to tell the difference between pretending and real, and they always can. If,
Hmm.
if you ask a child what's real and what's pretending, they'll tell you.
Hmm.
Yeah. So why do we not grow up? Maybe it's
That's interesting because a lot of people I've been listening to have actually been defining ego as something that's actually just very young. It's just a very immature thing,
yeah, yeah.
and that actually seems so intuitive in so many ways. Just because I think it arises in early conditioning years, early developmental years, and so
Mhm.
it's just something that really just stays if we're not careful of trying to observe it and understand it.
Tyson Yungapura in Sand Talk is really interesting the way that he talks about it because he was kind of raised out in the wilds of
Mm,
Australia, right? And so he talks about modern humans kind of from that perspective. And the way he sees us is that we have been trained to be perpetual children.
mhm.
And
Yeah,
yeah, and
that's
that
so good.
our school systems and all of our systems and all of our social interactions keep us as perpetual
Is that
children.
in Sand Talk?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. Yeah,
yeah.
he goes through, I mean, he's pretty brutal about civilization.
Mhm,
And he compares us to, like, when you domesticate an animal,
mhm,
the characteristics of that animal just completely change because you need that animal to be compliant at all
mhm,
times,
mhm,
right? And so we're really taught to be compliant. And I know you and I have talked about it before, that feeling when you are not being compliant with the people around you, that because you know they're going to attack you in
mhm,
some way, right?
mhm,
Subtle or overt.
mhm.
So there's like a so it's really interesting to just examine that feeling, that like,
Examine that feeling. And
where
is that what you recommend us to do with this whole pretending thing?
well, I recommend examine everything.
Mhm,
Hmm. We've been trained so deep
mhm,
to be compliant and to be good and uh, to be not not real and to pretend.
mhm.
Yeah.
So did you have experience pretending?
Well, I still pretend all the time.
Yeah.
I
But I
because I
mean I mean coming from a quote unquote illusion place.
Yes, yes. I mean, I
Yeah.
was taught very strictly. Well, you and I have talked about it before. I was raised very, very Catholic. You were raised Muslim, and you're taught that if you're a good girl, everything will work for
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Mhm.
Of course, for girls, we have to be good and pretty.
Yeah.
But if you're bad and ugly, what are you gonna do? But so yeah, yeah. And I can remember. even before I met my teacher, just really realizing the toxicity of that.
Mhm.
Because it's like the more I tried to be good, the more I was just a doormat
Mm.
for everybody.
Mhm.
And I had to, it was really hard to learn to stand up for myself
Mhm.
and to not just always be good. And I mean, really, I'm not good.
Mhm.
So everything about being good, I had to pretend to
Mhm.
be that.
Mhm.
Whereas, really, I'm kind of snarky and a little bit mean. And
You said my teacher. Are you talking about Osho?
Osho, right?
And what does he mean to you today?
Um, oh, he brilliant orator, fabulous teacher. But he was a product of his time and he's dead now, so he can't up his game to to fit the new things that we know. But the number one thing I think he taught me was that I didn't know. He made me see that there was something that I didn't know and that he did know.
Mhm.
And so then from that point, uh, I mean, of course, I'm asking questions and I'm doing all sorts of things, but basically, I actually listened
Mhm.
and just listened without um, uh, too much doubt
Okay.
involved in it.
And
Yeah.
would you say that you had a devotional relationship, whatever that means?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
explain that.
Well, he was a very lovely fellow, and
Yeah.
he taught love. That was kind of the thing that he
Yeah.
taught, which was for those times was very revolutionary.
Mhm.
Everybody teaches love now,
Can
right?
you teach it to me? What is it?
What?
Can you teach it to me? What is that?
Love.
Yeah, what
Oh,
is it?
you were born knowing how to do it. You're a very loving fellow. I hear you talk about, your mom and people that you know, and you're you have a loving heart. You just do.
So, and that's the thing. I think, one of the things that actually attracted me to spirituality, I think when we were learning psychology of evil, right? When I got in my head, I think what was implicitly being taught was Buddha nature. This sense that,
Uh-huh.
we all are fundamentally good. We all have
Mhm.
this fundamental goodness. And what does that mean to you?
I would probably phrase it different. I would say we're fundamentally cooperative.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good is a difficult word to use
Well,
because
yeah,
that gets
it's
all
vague.
mixed up with, like, are you a good Muslim? Are you going to heaven? Are you
Yeah.
a good girl? Are you a good boy? That gets all mixed up. But I think
Mhm.
we're basically cooperative and intuitive,
Intuitive. Yeah.
because you can't be cooperative if you're not intuitive.
Well, the way I look at it is like humans do that which works rather than that which doesn't work. Not even just humans, but all beings, like
I'll be right.
all life, right?
Mhm,
Like I mean,
mhm.
even if a cell wants to kill itself, well, he does that which works. That's which is conducive to killing itself, than
Right,
not, right?
right,
Um,
right.
and I think that fundamental intuition or intelligence or whatever it is, I think
Yeah.
that's what it's pointing to. But
And these days we have such an advantage because even like, what is it, archaeology, psychology has gotten rid of the idea of survival of the fittest. That was a
mm,
very toxic idea that invaded you know, our societies for a long time. But um, all the anthropologists and everyone I read say that that just never happened. It's survival of the most cooperative, survival of
mm,
the most what intertwined
mm,
is what actually survives.
mm.
Did,
Intertwined, connected.
did they teach you that?
Uh, yeah, I mean, like, I just think it's probably just implicitly taught that I think, we have this motivation to expand and connect, you know? And I don't think it's this expansion and connection motivation, I think. is not just about the individual self, but the context it lives in, the social context it lives in. So it's
Mhm.
just I think cooperative, yeah, cooperation is just a component of evolutionary psychology that I mean it's just there.
It's just there.
Yeah,
Right. It's deeply baked into everything.
yeah,
And then I love how, the indigenous people that I study explain it, like take cooperation even a step further, and don't think that humans are the only conscious beings. Just realize that everything's conscious and
mhm,
that we're cooperating with the earth and the earth is cooperating with us. And well, right now we're cooperating with the atmosphere, right? By filling it with too much carbon. and
yeah,
and we can learn how to change that consciously.
mm,
We have to do it consciously. Unconscious burning has caused the problem, so it's going to take a lot of conscious effort
mhm.
to move us into a new way of being where we're uh, back to being more cooperative with the world as it exists.
What is it? The seven deadly sins that they say. You have greed, lust, and whatever.
Right, right. Do you guys have that too?
I mean, that's probably, yeah, just extends to all
That's
religions, right?
probably Old Testament stuff, huh?
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, yeah,
for
seven
sure.
deadly sins. Yeah.
Mhm. But I mean, when I look at it, it's just like, that's like that kind of stuff is probably part of the problem. That isn't allowing us to view life consciously. Things like greed, right? And if
Right.
things like the survival of the fittest motivation, if that is there, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
so I mean, that needs to be attended to, right? And like, I mean,
Yes.
that's what kind of religions I think focus a lot on, like sin and
Mhm.
good deeds and all that. And
Right.
I think that's very useful and needed as well,
Yes. Yeah,
right?
and if
Because
you
like,
study any indigenous things, they all of their teachings are full of things like that, how to be a good human being.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't think I think our default mode is that we can easily fall into selfishness.
selfishness, yeah.
Mhm.
And so if you take away selfishness, how much better does the world get? Like if all humans just become
Yeah,
unselfish.
but I don't think like what would happen if you just magically took it away. I think it would be like they say, like if you get rid of spiders, that the whole ecology of the earth will die in 3 days.
Mhm,
So I think same thing. If you just completely took away of selfishness,
mhm.
everything would unravel.
So you're saying we needed it and to get here at one point, and there
I
has to
think
be.
everything is so intertwined, and if you try to pull out one little thing, you you're just doing a
Mhm,
uh mind fart.
yeah. So you're saying it needs to happen as a process.
Yeah, because and just think, it's like, okay, it would be good if I was built better so that I had no selfishness at all. I
Mm,
mean, that's a very toxic thought. It's like, okay, so if I'm built wrong, I have this selfishness, and you're also assigning yourself the not enough strength to deal with it,
that's so powerful.
right? Yeah.
That reminds me of this one time you told me, what if you were to be enlightened and keep everything you have
Yes.
still, right? It's like, then I mean, the first response is like, so what changes, right?
Yeah. Very, very little. And that's just the conundrum I work with all the time. It's like, how am I not able to describe this and explain it so that everybody can get it?
Mm,
I don't understand uh, how to do it or how it is that I'm not doing it.
mm.
Does that make sense? Oh, by the way, we have a couple of people in our chat, and
Yes.
everybody in the chat, go ahead and put questions. And you need to know that I haven't figured out how to reply, but maybe JJ. Because I don't want to go clicking on buttons because I just like I clicked on a button and I ended up with a green screen. So,
Oh, okay.
but go ahead, you guys, and have a
Do you
question
see do you see the comments?
or a comment. I do. I see that
Dag7.
Dig7 says hello. Butch92 says hi.
Yeah.
So I just uh, everything I click on doesn't give me a place to. Oh wait, no, no. Sorry, I don't see where to reply. But you guys can go
You
ahead.
reply in the video, just talking.
Oh, I can reply in the video.
Yeah, you did. It's live.
Dude. Okay, I lost what we were talking about.
Um, yeah, so greed. I don't know.
Greed.
What is greed?
So it's really funny. I was kind of thinking before we got on, I was like going, what happened to people? Like when because you know me, I love studying archaeology and all these indigenous voices and stuff
Mhm,
like that. And uh I think what happened was when people started to have the ability to accumulate wealth.
mhm,
Because think about it. Before, there was a certain time where you literally could not own more than you could carry.
mhm. Yeah.
And so all of society would have had to be based on that. And humans can carry quite a bit,
Mhm,
and then once you have horses, we can carry a whole lot more, right? But
mhm,
if you study indigenous um, wisdom people, they say that the economies were like gifting economies. So rather than buying and selling, people would give and then someone would give back. And then, as soon as you started getting too much stuff, people would just give it away. And I
Yeah.
know in the Bible, there's a thing about the Jewish ancient tradition that they used to have a thing where every 7 years, everybody's debt would completely just go away.
Mm, mm,
So, yeah. So things like that. So it had to be when people began to be able to accumulate wealth
mm.
that we started going crazy because when you have wealth, then suddenly you have hierarchy.
Yeah.
Because the only way you can have wealth is if you own more than you can carry. So that means you have to be making somebody else carry your stuff.
Well, there's just so much there's a sense of ownership in
And
that
then as
too,
soon as you
right?
feel
I
like
don't.
you're owning stuff. And so then you want to know what my
Mhm.
next thought from that was because you'll maybe get a laugh. And then I thought,
Tell me.
Mohammed was a merchant.
Mhm. Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
But then again, maybe I'm just full of BS. I'm
Oh
just
my god.
I'm
We all
inventing
are.
this stuff. I'm no expert
Yeah.
professor,
We all are. We all are.
right?
But that's so good. I think, yeah, it's just, I mean, you have this, like, hyper ownership sense now, right? And it's
Right,
just like and I think that it actually has to do with a lot of, Eastern spirituality too. They talk about you don't own the body, you don't own the mind, you don't own anything, you don't own your family, you don't own whatever,
right,
right?
right,
And somehow that has to do with, a sense of knowing who you are as well.
right, right.
What so
And
how does that
and
make
in the essence of it, it makes sense, but that also can turn into very
for sure,
toxic
for sure.
belief systems,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so if you're gonna own if once people have the ability to own stuff and create wealth, then they had to have people that were compliant to them in order to keep their wealth,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so then, oh, so much of these religions are about teaching us how to be compliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
So
sure.
then we're back to the seven deadly sins, where actually it's like, hmm, you know, maybe that's being used to control me rather
Control it,
than
yeah. Yeah.
free me,
Yeah.
right?
Oh my god, for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, that definitely took place, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many weird things they teach you when you're a little Catholic girl. Like, they teach you the seven deadly
Mhm.
sins. And then when you're 7 years old, you start doing confession like once
Oh,
a
shit.
week, right? And so
Yeah.
it was really
Yeah.
funny. So they have this whole system where it's built up. Well, there's venial sins and there's mortal sins.
Mm.
And so they were pretty um insistent on teaching us because we're just little and we'd get all worried about it, and they'd say, "Don't worry, you're probably not doing a mortal sin, murdering somebody." So they're like, everything you're doing is just a venial sin. So you can just go ahead and do it because then you can just go to confession and get um say two
Forgiven.
Hail Marys and three Our Fathers and you're good.
Yeah.
So, but then as a little kid, you're sitting there and going, this doesn't quite make sense. You know? And the older you get, it's like the more complicated the dogma gets trying to
Yeah, right?
explain it to you,
Yeah, I know.
right?
I
Right.
know.
And then so many people these days are just going, dude, something's wrong. It just doesn't make
Mhm.
sense at all.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then unfortunately, what we usually do is just jump into a different religion
Yeah.
rather just going, something's wrong with all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I think there's some things I can't talk on live, but yeah.
Right, right. So, in the Muslim, oh God, I'm losing my train of thought. I had a thought. Were you were taught sin,
Mhm. For sure.
right?
Yeah.
So, do you have, and I think I've asked you this before, do you have original sin, the idea of original
No,
sin?
that's interesting. So the one of the things that gives Islam bonus points Christianity is the fact that it doesn't have there, right? Because like with original sin, well, that goes against this fundamental intuition, this fundamental cooperation, fundamental goodness, or
Right,
whatever,
right,
right? Because you can't have that because we are fundamentally inclined towards evil, right? Like that's like the whole thing because Adam ate the apple and stuff.
right, right.
We don't have that in
You
the
don't
Quran.
have
It's
that.
no, in the Quran, it's not taught that. It's actually instead of fundamental sin, the reason for why we sin is ignorance. We just don't know any better.
So we have a fundamental ignorance.
Not a fundamental ignorance, it's just because of ignorance. And al-jahil is the Arabic word. So
Say
like
it.
al-jahil,
In Jahid,
jahil, like jahil.
Jahil.
Yeah,
That's the ignorance.
yeah, that's what ignorance means in Arabic. And so like yeah, that's the attribution for why we sin and why Adam messed up or something. You know, it's
So
not because of
then,
mental
are
sin.
you supposed to become more wise or more
More wise,
aware, or
more,
what's
more aware. Yeah,
so fundamentally in the religion is the fact that you have to actually grow up.
grow up. Yeah. So I
Right.
mean that's why like I think for sure like Islam definitely has way more points over Christianity in that sense.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, and I think that's what the Sufis take further too.
for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not always interpreted in depth in the way I just
Mhm.
said, but I think no one would disagree. Like no Muslim would I don't think would
Mhm.
disagree with what I just but
But there is the idea that there is a fundamental wisdom in people.
yeah, that's I said it to you before. It's the fitra. The fitra is
Mhm.
I think, let me read it. Fitra in Islam refers to the innate, pure, and natural disposition or constitution humans are born with, inclining them towards recognizing God, goodness, truth, and inner compass for morality.
Wow.
Yeah. So the fitra is a central theme in Islam as well. Like, not that's actually, it's a natural good disposition, not a natural bad one.
Right. So, the zikr phrase "La ilaha illallah," relate
hmm
that to fitra then.
Uh, well, fitra would mean that we all, at the deepest level, already know La ilaha illallah. We already know that's the truth. It's just,
Right.
I mean, do we see it or not? Are we covered with all these veils or whatever, right?
Right. Right.
Um, but at our innermost being, like, that's already a known, right?
Mm.
Like, I mean, yeah, it's just we all already know that.
Mhm.
Which reflects so many non-duality teachings.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And again,
And that
I don't know if everyone would automatically respond the way I just did, right? Like a Muslim
right.
would probably just have their own responses. But again, I don't think that they would disagree with that, with what I just said as well. They I think the common Orthodox Islamic belief is that at the deepest level we already know La ilaha illallah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. Right. So, why does it get all messed up?
I mean, shit, I don't know. I'm not an Islamic theologian. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm not an
Yeah.
Islamic historian either. I have no idea. But
Well, I have read so many really, good shakes, and of course all the poetry
yeah,
that just expresses that very well,
mhm, for
right?
sure. Yeah, and I think, more and more people are just being attracted towards it. I think, I don't know, maybe I'm just biased in my perception, but I do think, I do see like a global awakening thing happening.
Mhm. Well, I wonder if, you know, uh, so the fundamental way that you're raised is very strong in all of us. And so we really kind of need
hmm
an awakening from where we're at.
hmm
Yeah, so
You think that's important?
because usually when somebody starts questioning their own religion, they jump to another one, right?
Yeah.
But then you
Well,
can never
that's
never get the essence of it really.
yeah. I mean, it doesn't make sense for the whole Islamic world to become yogis or Buddhists or whatever.
No, no, and it doesn't make sense for the whole Christian world to
No,
become. Yeah,
no.
yeah. We got to find the. Uh,
Well, and I think that's what a lot of the Sufis did. I mean, like, this isn't like, I mean, look at even Hazrat Enyat Khan. Like, it's
right,
just like, what is he? Why doesn't that work? Why can't that work? Right? And of
right.
course it can. Right? I think I mean, there just has been, but I mean, maybe it's just not so popular to do.
Mhm, mhm.
But
Yeah,
I think you're right on that. I think we need to find ways to express this stuff within our culture, remaining, who we are with
right.
our conditioning. It doesn't make sense to just go on and take
Throw
on.
it all. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Our deep understandings of it. Well, I'm getting ready to go down to Mexico for a dance camp, and what's really interesting is to go down there because in Mexico, a really large part of the population is still indigenous people,
Yeah.
and uh, and they're very Catholic.
Mm.
And Catholic is very different from Protestant
Yeah.
Christianity, the kind of Christianity that is dominant in the United States, in the North. And I just love listening to them talk and their different perceptions and stuff.
Mhm.
And so I'm trying to learn more how they think. and
Do you have to speak
and
Spanish?
perceive. Yeah, yeah. What did you say?
Do you speak Spanish to them?
No, I don't. Wayne's trying to learn Spanish, but
I win.
can you hear him messing around over there? Yeah,
Yeah.
he's packing and getting his guitar ready so to go. Yeah, so it's really beautiful. The Catholicism in Mexico seems to me to be very Mary based.
Mhm.
Mary
Very.
is 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 huge.
Mhm.
And I don't know about when you get out of Mexico and down further into South America, but in Mexico, there's this story of Guadalupe. And
Mhm.
so Mary came to appeared to this young girl
Mhm.
who, and all the natives were getting slaughtered, right? Because that's just what we do.
Mhm.
And Mary appeared and saved everybody.
Mhm.
And so everywhere you go, there's shrines to
No way, I didn't know about
Guadalupe.
this.
Yeah, yeah. And so it's
When
really a
was this?
very beautiful story of how she saved everyone. And so they like intertwined Catholicism with a lot of their traditional beliefs.
When was this?
Well, it was when the Spanish were attacking Mexico.
Mm.
Uh, 1400s, 1500s,
Mm.
1700s, something like that. Yeah, I'm a little light on my details, but but it's really beautiful because it feels much more heart based rather rather than
Mhm.
head
Art-based.
based.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
always like to think of that Mary saved everybody. Yeah.
Shout out to Mary.
Yeah, yeah. So that was a
Art.
yeah, but
When are you guys going to Mexico?
we take off on Monday.
Monday. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll be down there. Yay, dance camps.
Yeah. Are you prepared?
I am. I've
I've
been
been thinking
practicing.
about New Age spirituality again, like just the Americanized versions of it and stuff. And I think it's a natural byproduct of rebellious Christianity. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's kind of like super privileged because it's like all we want is the good happy parts.
Yeah, I know. No, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, kind of like back to your original question, like what about comparison? Wouldn't
Mm,
it be nice if, wouldn't it be nice if just all that stuff was just taken away
mm.
from you? Actually, that can be done. And it's called Alzheimer's disease.
So we all want Alzheimer's disease. That's what's
Right.
going on.
So one of the things that Osho always taught, because he grew up on the streets of, was it Calcutta or something? And he was a very precocious little boy, and so he's always running away from home and going hanging out for even days with all the people out on the streets. And in India, religion's a very big thing.
Mhm.
And so he went out there and he was hanging out with all the beggars and all the saints and everybody who's out there. And they taught him all their tricks,
Mm,
how they would look enlightened and how they would make miracles and things so that people would feed them and stuff. And so he
mm,
realized that the
mhm.
whole thing's just a scam.
Yeah,
So that kind of that stuck with him through all of his teachings because
yeah.
really maybe that was his main teaching, that the whole thing's just a
Well,
scam.
do you think then what's needed is for us to be less impressionable?
Yeah, like be a little discerning about all of them.
And so how do we become less impressionable generally, not just even with religion then?
Well, isn't that kind of a function of the mind too?
Mhm.
Yeah, like you were telling me how, your goal is to have a clean and clear and good mind.
Mhm.
And that's a goal that I mean it's partly spiritual, but really it's just kind of practical.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't see it as a spiritual mission.
Right.
Maybe it is. Maybe we'll
Right.
have its effects, but
Exactly.
and I
Yeah.
think that's what when people are searching for enlightenment stuff, I think they're a lot of the times they're just searching for a healthy mind too, a lot of it.
Yeah. Mhm.
And I think that's probably the disappointment sometimes too with your teachings when it's just
Yeah.
nothing really changes.
I know. I know. But, I think that people who, come to this direction into non-duality have kind of started seeing through the cracks of all of it.
Mhm,
That it's like, yeah, that just kind of doesn't make
mhm,
sense.
mhm,
What's really useful is so imagine you're a person that believes in happiness and always happy, and you believe that you create your own reality.
mhm,
And then something really shitty happens to you,
mhm.
and you're like upset about it. And so then you're upset about being upset as much
Yeah.
as you're upset. And then you can only bear that for so long. And then after a while, it's just kind of like, wait a minute, this just doesn't feel what
Mhm,
true, helpful.
mhm, mhm,
Yeah.
mhm,
So I think people are just kind of trying to see through the cracks of all of it
mhm.
too. And
How easy do you think it all is?
well, ultimately very, very easy to I mean, you know who you are.
Yeah, just like back to the
Somehow or
fitra.
another you believed that you don't. You were convinced
Mhm.
that you don't. So when did that happen? Right? I don't know. Kind of I think it was
When
like
did it happen for you?
I don't know, I think it's just a slow boil.
Mm,
But I think I always kind of had a rebellious spirit underneath all of it.
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Another thing that Tyson Yungapura in Santok says, and I've heard this with other indigenous people, is that indigenous there's a very strong feeling of don't tell me what to do,
Mhm,
right?
mhm, mhm,
But go deep into that and you realize that okay, if you don't want anybody to tell you what to do, then that means you have to have enough discernment to be able to figure it out on your own.
mhm,
You can't
mhm.
relax on, you know, your social safety net or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right? So, and they even have a word for don't tell me what to do. And
Don't tell
and
me
I,
what
I
to do.
I've heard that in Native American stuff too that, fierce independence.
Mm,
Yeah.
fierce
And
independent.
yeah, so I think we all have a
That's a very masculine trait.
oh, you've never met a fierce woman?
No, it is too as well, for sure. I mean, my mom,
Right?
for sure. But I think,
Right?
like, it's like, I think, like, I don't know, in my conceptual ideas, like, oh, that would be of masculine energy or whatever, right?
Which is something that really holds women down a lot.
For sure, and they need it. Yeah,
And yeah, because you're told, I mean, if and just look at like an executive can be powerful,
yeah.
but an executive woman is a bitch, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
Right? It's really hard to be a fierce woman,
yeah,
not accepted
yeah,
at all.
yeah. No, that's
So,
so bullshit.
but I think if you get into the natural world, which would you rather mess with? Uh, a mama grizzly bear with two cubs or a guy just wandering around by himself?
Yeah, I wouldn't fuck with the mama grizzly bear,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't mess with mama,
No,
and we know that,
yeah,
you know, and so why do we see things different in ourselves? I think women can be way more fierce than
for
men.
sure, for sure.
Hmm. Yeah. So, do we really want to let all that out? I think the answer is yes, because basically we're all cooperative.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So, but we're all cooperative, but that also doesn't mean that th- there aren't times where it's necessary to take yourself away from certain environments, certain people.
Yes. Mhm. Yeah. 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 Yeah, because
There
we're
was this one thing
cooperative,
that's
but we're
just like,
not perfect and we're not impermeable. Stuff gets to us. Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
there was like there's like this one thing I was listening to. It was just like, so you're saying everything is God, even that tiger? And it's just like, yeah, everything is God, even that tiger. And it's just like, well, I'm not gonna go hug that tiger, and like, just because whatever, you know. And it doesn't mean, I think, that we lose our rationality, regardless.
Right. Well,
I
so
think cooperation still exists even without
I live near
necessarily.
Yellowstone National Park, and so there's lots of wildlife, there's lots of bears, and there's lots of buffalo there.
Mhm.
And one thing that happens every year is there's always some tourist that goes and tries to pet or hug a buffalo.
Mm.
And just think of the depths um, of illusion you have to be in to walk up to a buffalo and think you can pet it. You have to be very, very domesticated yourself to not understand the fierceness that's in that buffalo.
Mm. Mm.
And the entitlement to think that, oh, look, there's a buffalo. I'm going to walk up and hug it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, 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 no. So uh, to be honest, you have to really, really see the qualities of things around you
Mm.
and be, yeah, yeah. Takes a lot of strength, and we need this strength in order to make the changes that we need to make
Mhm.
in in our society, because it's a giant weight
Mhm.
on us, to just get along. And you do have to get along.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a part of being human for sure.
Right. And one thing we know for sure is that just being a total asshole, you're not going to go out there and just change the world. It's a huge cooperative effort
Yeah,
to do it. Yeah,
yeah,
going to take a lot of scientists, I think that.
I think so too.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, we're just about on an hour here. I
Yeah,
think we should go.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah,
I gotta go do some things, have some
yeah,
errands.
yeah.
But
Your responsibilities, man.
yeah, I know. You gotta be responsible, man.
Yeah, yeah. Well, keep in touch so that I know what all's happening to you. I'm going to be gone for 3 weeks.
3 weeks, eh? Wow.
Yeah, and you're like moving and all sorts of things.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Let me know how it's all going.
Oh, love.
Okay. Woo! I got my hand, so
Oh
I
yeah.
can't really.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks.
All right,
Okay,
Vivian.
bye, people.
Talk to
If
you
you're still
soon.
watching,
Bye.
okay, if I find the button to push,
Okay. Bye
there's
bye.
so many buttons. Oh, I'm still clicking. Wait. Oh, this will help. Hmm.
Press the X button maybe in the
Oh,
corner.
X. Yeah.
There you go. Okay.